Equipment. What's my favourite pieces? What's my go-to bits? People ask me, you know, what kind of leads do I use? Poo bags do I recommend? What kind of equipment do I use? And I have a few things that I take on every single walk, always, like poo bags, obviously. And I do have a preference on which ones I buy and use. So let's start off with poo bags, because you're going to use a lot of them. And these ones are my favourite. They are called Pet and Pet. You can find them on Amazon. And the reason why I like them is because the material is not paper thin. They're actually half decent. And they're not crazy expensive to buy a big box of. So I buy big boxes at a time. I think it's like 1,080 bags. I can't remember how many rolls that is. But it's like 20 quid off Amazon. And they last me ages. And obviously you're going to go through these. I don't like the ones that are paper thin, because you just carry around poo all the time, and I don't want them to split, don't want them to tear. I like these ones, good quality, not too expensive, and they're just durable. Like, you know, they hold it, they don't tear, they don't split. They're a good size for the big poo. You know, overall, they're a decent bag. They're not too expensive. Buy a big box at a time and just leave them there. Absolutely ideal poo bags for me. Right, number 2 is one thing that I take on every walk, and I mean every walk, even with just mine, any dog, is these bad boys. Is that I bring gun dog whistles. For these ones, I use Acme because they're the best whistles out there. Not affiliated with these, unfortunately, but Acme whistles are the best ones, and I use a 210.5 and I use a 211. A 212. The 211.5 is a high pitch, and it's good for, you know, close distance and stuff like that. If a dog goes too far, which they shouldn't really do, so I very rarely use it, is the 212. It's a lot louder. You can get a dog's attention far away. Or if they're just not listening, it'll break the gaze and get their attention back on you. And the great thing about dog whistles is that even if a dog's not trained to it, what are you doing? Absolute madness. Even if they're not trained to it, the sound of a whistle will entice them to come to you, even if they don't know what the whistle means. They'll perk up, they'll look, and it's enough to break a gaze, even if a dog's not trained to a whistle. So, dog whistles, take them on every single walk. And mine are trained to a whistle, you know, recall, and I will slowly implement that. You know, when I call the dogs to me, I will call them to me, obviously, and I will pip the whistle, and I will slowly start introducing a recall on a whistle, because it is a better way of getting the dog's attention. But these ones are by far my favourite. All the links and stuff for the ones that I personally use, I will put in the description below, so if you want to check them out, feel free to do so. Number 3 is leads. Now, everybody's going to have their own preference and own opinion on leads and which ones they like to use and which ones they don't use. The ones that I use are these. You can get them from a few different places. You can get from Dog and Gun, Field and Fireside, a few places like that. Again, I'll put the links, but these are Gun Dog slip leads. They are only just over 1 metre long. They are awesome quality. I've had these ones for ages. They've got a really nice buckle on them. They've got a really nice toggle. I know a lot of people don't like to use slip leads, but again, I do. That's my personal preference. Obviously, I don't use them on, like, you know, flat-faced dogs or older dogs that, you know, or whatever. You know, if the client's requested that they don't want them walking on a slip lead, absolutely fine. I'll put them on a flat collar, but I want that flat collar to be tight. Too many times dogs have slipped out of harnesses and collars. Right. Too many times dogs have slipped out of the collars and what have you. So these are what I like to use. Personally, I think they're in some ways a lot safer. If there's a load of people coming down or there's dogs coming down, I can quickly, you know, just loop this over the heads. I've got control of the dogs, no messing around looking for collars, buckles or leads, no clips or anything like that. Not only that, do you know how many times we've been run up on dogs that have either slipped the collar or don't have a collar whatsoever, and I've got a group of dogs, slip lead. Well, do you know how many times that dogs have actually lost the collars while they're out? You know, they've got it caught, they've been rough playing, and a collar slipped off, and now they've got no collar. If you've only got clipper leads, you're buggered. So the amount of times that we've been run up on dogs without leads, I can just slip these bad boys on. Dogs under control, everybody's safe. But yeah, they are hard wearing, durable. Just checking everybody's accounted for. Hard wearing, durable, really nice, well made gun dog leads. So these are my preference. These are what I will use. I have used a few other different slip leads. energy in the doggies. Anyway, I have used quite a few different leads, but these are by far my favorite. If I buy any more, these are the ones that I will go for every single time, because like I said, they just stay put, they're a good quality, last long, and they bunch up really small, so they just fit, excuse me, they fit really small and they fit in your pocket, which is perfect. And honestly, those are the three main things that I take on absolutely every walk. They're like the main essential things: a really good quality lead, loads of bloody poo bags, and whistles for the dogs, because I use them all the time. These are the three things that I use every single walk, absolutely every time. Now, there are a few things to mention, a few quality of life items that I use, which I'll quickly list off. And again, I will put the pictures and all the links and stuff in the description. I will say that the hammock is an absolute essential if you're using your car or doing out of a smaller vehicle or whatever. A hammock is a go-to thing to cover your back seats. Now, the ones that I like to use are the ones that have got the paneling in the bottom. It stays flat, it stops the dogs from going into the footwell and ripping the hammock, pulling it all sideways. It stays nice and stationary, more comfortable for the dogs, better for the car. Absolutely a spot on thing, definitely worth the money. Next is the Wolf Box. I'll put it there. The next is a Wolf Box reversing camera. So it replaces your rear view mirror, and the camera's at the back and you can just see right out of the back and stuff like that. If you're in a van or whatever, I know it's not like dog related, you could put it in any car whatsoever, but if you're in a van and I've got like crates, I can't always see using the rear view mirror that's in there. The camera points straight out the back window and I can see absolutely everything. Honestly, it's absolutely perfect. It's just brilliant. If you're in a van or you can't see out the back because of dog crates or dog heads or whatever like that, it's spot on. It's definitely worth a mention. I would also put a mention in for the silicone little dog treat pouches that clip on. Now, I don't have one on me. I'm using my pocket at the moment, purely because they're broken. Because I've used them that much. The backs of them are torn because I used them all the time. But they are absolutely amazing. They'll definitely be putting an order in to get some more of them, because they're really handy. You can just wash them out, and if it gets wet, you can just dry it out. It's just, the treats just don't get stuck in there when you're using like pate or, you know, or you're using like liver sausage and stuff like that. It's they're just great. Definitely worth having. Hi, little one. And on the same vein of treats, I use these. They are from Purely Pets, and they are their liver sausage, or they are pork and beef sausage. Which ones? Long dried sausages. The dogs love them. They are natural treats. They're not full of crap. So, you know, and the dogs do tend to like them. It's tasty. And if the dogs are coming back to me and stuff like that, I like to give them a treat every now and then. So, you know, a bit of positive reinforcement. I'll just hand out treats to all these guys. What are we? Yes, so they are definitely worth a buy. If you don't want to buy the Purely Pet stuff or whatever, you know, dried liver sausage in general is a good option. I used to use the hot dogs from Aldi. They were just as smelly and just as good. And probably the last thing, what's going on down here? Hey. And probably the last thing that I'm going to mention for this list, honestly, there's just so much I could put on this, but the last thing that I would mention that's been an absolute game changer is some sealskin socks or waterproof socks. You can get these off Amazon. You don't have to get the sealskins ones, but I wanted to try the branded ones. I didn't just want to go out there and spend almost the same amount for them not to work well. But the waterproof sealskin socks, you know, for those that are just not wearing Wellingtons, they're wearing the boots, and they're just dabbing it. You know, if the ground's wet or whatever and you don't want to have to wear your big wellies and stuff like that, sealskin socks, man, absolute game changer. I've worn them loads. They have saved my bacon. It just keeps my feet dry. Fair enough, you can get a little bit sweaty in them, but it's just to stop your feet from getting soaked, piss wrapped every single day. They're just, honestly, sealskin socks, game changer. That's it, guys. I'm gonna, obviously, like I say, I could go on forever with all the different bits of equipment that I've got, but those are the main ones. The few quality of life ones for the car, you know, honourable mentions there. Again, I'll put all the links down in the description for the ones that I've mentioned. You guys can feel free to go and have a look at them. I'll put all the Amazon links so you can have a look as well. And like I said, I'm not affiliated or anything with any of these products. They're just my personal preference, which I wanted. But the links that I put down in the description will be the affiliate links for them products through Amazon. So yes, go and check them out if you would like to, but those are the ones that I highly recommend, that I use every single day. So yeah, that's it for this one, guys. I will catch you all later. With all the equipment I've got, I could probably make another video on that, which I might do. So in a bit, bye.